What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking swim jigs. What I use: rod, reel, line, swim jigs, trailers, when, why I use certain trailers, what certain trailers will do to your swim jig. We're going to dive into everything about a swim jig here today, so that's all coming up. All right, so a swim jig is such a versatile lure. You can throw it anywhere, any type of structure. It's pretty weedless, so it comes through most cover very well. Catches bass everywhere. Largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, you name it, you can catch it on a swim jig. You can fish it on the bottom. You can fish it in the middle of the water column. You can fish it on the surface or near the surface. It's just a bait you can do everything with. And I really like utilizing a swim jig pretty much all year long. Anytime there's some vegetation, it's one of the first baits I'm picking up. All right, so let's dig in the swim jig box here and see what we got. Now, generally, when I'm fishing a swim jig, I'm going with a 3/8 or 1/4 ounce, somewhere in that range, because generally I want to keep this bait from, say, 5 foot to the surface, anywhere in that range. Generally it's a shallow water fishing bait, so you want to keep it pretty high in the water column. I do have some big ones here, like this is a 3/4 ounce. You can throw this one in some deeper grass or some brush piles or that kind of stuff. But most of the time, I'm going with these right here. It's the Dirty Jigs No Jack. I think it comes in like 1/16 ounce, 5/16, 7/16, 9/16, but it's all in that 1/4 to 3/8 range, somewhere right around there, and that's generally my go-to. Let's see. Today, I'm wanting to imitate some shad. So, we're gonna go with this one right here. All right. So, to start, there's two main setups that I really like to throw my swim jigs on. We got this one right here. This is the Favorite Rush, 7'3" heavy, and I throw this with fluorocarbon. So I got 25-pound Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon on there. I want that heavy line. There's no reason not to run 25. I want that fluorocarbon because it's clear. That's the main deal, is it's clear. And it has a little bit of stretch. A lot of guys like to throw their swim jigs on braid, and me as well, for certain situations. My other setup here has braid on it, but this one here, I like to go with fluorocarbon. It just casts better, it fishes better, and you're not gonna jerk that bait out of a fish's mouth using fluorocarbon. So I got that line on a Favorite Soleus XCS. 7.3 to 1 gear ratio reel. I don't want to wind this bait too fast. You can use a higher gear ratio if you want, but you just got to watch yourself not winding too fast. Now, we got a rod, we got a reel, we got some line on there, we got a swim jig. Now we need a trailer for this swim jig. And really, there is two main types of trailers that you see on a swim jig. You got a swim bait style, like this right here. This is the Guggen Saucy Swimmer. Or you have your craw type trailer, like these right here, the rattle and chunk. We're gonna go with that one today. So we got a pretty natural looking bait right here. I'm gonna go with the natural Keller rattle and chunk on my swim jig and rig that up like so. Now this is probably my go-to swim jig trailer. If there is a situation where they're really just keying in on shad, whether it's a shad spawn or I want to keep the bait a little bit deeper, I will go with the Saucy Swimmer. This is that perfect mid-range. And now, here's one little trick for you guys on your swim jigs. If you're looking to keep your bait very high in the water column, you can swap out your rattle and chunk for the Explode Toad. This right here, see, this is a big profile bait. There's a lot of plastic. So whenever you put that on your swim jig, it's going to really bulk up that bait and it's going to keep it very high in the water column. You know, it's very hard for this bait to sink because it's got a lot of surface area. So it's going to keep that bait very high in the water column, almost right under the surface. So you can work this almost like a top water, but still have that swim jig with that very stout hook and be able to yank those fish in. Now again, that is the juice right there. That is what I go with most of the time. Now these are very unique situations that I would use that Explode Toad on the back of my swim jig. So, you know, retrieve on a swim jig is very simple. You cast it out and wind it in. Pretty simple. You can hop it, you can twitch it, you can pull it, you can do whatever you want with a swim jig. There's no wrong way to do it. That's what's so unique about it. It's just an awesome bait to fish. So that guy right there is going to catch me some fish here this afternoon, but let's dive into my other setup here. Now this is when I'm in extreme heavy cover, whether it be lily pads, matted grass, you know, very heavy, thick vegetation. That's when I pull out this big dog right here. And that's the Favorite Pro Series, 7.6 heavy. That's a meat stick right there. This rod can pull out them giants out of the slot. So I put 50-pound Seagar Smackdown braid on my Soleus XCS reel here. We got the same swim jig, a little different Keller here, but the same swim jig. That no jack hook is very important, especially with the braid. You know, you don't want that hook flexing at all. And now with this, when I'm in that heavier cover, I really like to go with that bigger profile bait like the Explode Toad. So we're going to take him right there and let's rig him up on there like so. So you can see this big profile bait on your swim jig, and it's really going to allow me to keep this bait high in the water column. These tails are going to be kicking the whole time, but now that is a much bigger bait, bigger profile. It's going to target those bigger fish. So here you can see the difference between the two. Now that's the same swim jig, and all I did was change up the trailer. Different Keller obviously, but the same bait. All I did was change up the trailer, and you can see how much bigger of a profile this one is, and you can target those bigger fish, keep your bait higher in the water column, and all those good things. So if you guys are looking to try some new swim jig trailers this year, definitely check out these baits here. You know, they will flat out put some fish in your boat this summer on a swim jig. So appreciate you guys watching this video. Leave me any likes and comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.